Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rocky. I'm about to play my Holy Paladin, so I figured I'd read the guide with everybody. So let's go. Um, so let's get right into it. Welcome to Wowhead's Rotation, Cooldowns, and Ability Guide for Holy Paladin Healer and Cataclysm Classic. This guide will provide a list of recommended spell rotations to maximize your effectiveness in raids, dungeons, as well as your most important cooldowns. Wow, let's get into it. The best PvE rotation for Cataclassic. Holy Paladins have been the go to tank healer in all previous expansions, mostly due to lack of any AoE heal. With Cataclysm, its niche is finally changing to a versatile, high skill ceiling healer that can pump out large AoE bursts at a time. As a healer, it's highly reactive, primary having lots of big upfront healing. A lot of the old toolkit is the same beacon and direct heals, but the biggest difference is the new resource, Holy Power. Holy Power is a 3 charge cap system where you only generate 1 charge at a time. Charges are primarily gained through casting Holy Shock or Holy Radiance. You can also gain it by casting Flash of Light or Divine Light directly on your beacon with Tower of Radiance talent. Lastly, while it does cost a little mana, you can gain a charge by hitting with Crusader Strike. We also have 2 Holy Power spenders, Word of Glory and Light of Dawn. Word of Glory says consumes all holy power to heal a friendly target, and Light of Dawn says consumes all holy power to send a wave of healing before you, healing up to who knows. Which can be used with 1, 2, or 3 holy power and spend all available holy power to instantly do big single target healing or big AoE healing. However, more than even holy power, the biggest overall change to the game is probably healer power relative to player health pools. While in Wrath of the Lich King you could top someone off with a couple of heals, you won't be able to easily full heal someone in Cataclysm. I wish my fucking dungeon groups knew that. Don't fear though. This just means that in healing in Cataclysm is more of a marathon than a sprint. Every instance of damage is significant and requires you to map out how your mana will be spent recovering that health. This means carefully considering the mana efficiency of your spells, HPM, healing per mana, as well as considering the time frame in which we have to heal everyone up before the next instance of damage. In other word, in other words, the name of the game is triage, managing everyone's health pools at varying degrees of importance as you evaluate how much resources you need to put into each person. So, healing got harder. But not everyone knows that. Only healers know that. Unlike DPS, healers do not have a set rotation. The heals you choose will depend on a variety of factors. For most healers, any short cooldown healing abilities will tend to have the best HPS, so generally it will be incentive to use those nearly off cooldown. Holy Paladins will also want to maximize proper usage of Holy Power, as free healing of our holy power spenders is a big part of our mana sustain. The following sections will attempt to categorize and define healing situations in as much detail as reasonably possible so you can understand what heals to use when. It's recommended that you familiarize yourself with the entire spell list and toolkit listed near the bottom of this page first, as it'll help you internalize the logic behind how to heal any situation. Let's go through the abilities. So here we have Holy Shock. This is your new bread and butter spell. I love bread. By far your most efficient, powerful spell that costs very little mana, is instant, generates a holy power, and it's very important to learn muscle memory of casting this off cooldown at all times. You absolutely want to maximize your holy shot cast throughout a fight. Moderate healing, low mana cost, instant cast. Holy Radiance, your new big AoE heal, an extremely overtuned one at that. And it's a large amount of burst AoE healing with the short decent hot attached to it, meaning that in most scenarios you spam it. You'll want to cast it on at least 2 to 3 separate people so you don't clip the hot. In general, in raids, this spell is so powerful that you'll be looking to get effective casts of this whenever possible. The only downside is that it does not transfer through beacon. High AoE healing, high mana cost, slow cast. I don't want to go through all these. Read them yourself. Cataclysm Holy Paladin has as much different focus on upkeep than it did in Wrath of the Lich King. Now that Beacon is a full 5 minute long, we only need to worry about keeping up our 1 minute Judgment of the Pure buff and properly managing our holy power. Okay, so you need to judge every minute. Holy Power is the main bread and butter of the spec. You'll want to use Holy Shock off cooldown whenever possible without capping your Holy Power. On top of generating Holy Power, Holy Shock is now our best HPS spell, so it's extremely important to always keep it on cooldown. Lastly, Crusader Strike also generates Holy Power. However, since it doesn't directly do healing, the HPS of casting it is limited. Generally, you'll only want to use it if Shock is already on cooldown and there's no other healing to do, and you'll otherwise only be casting a Holy Light, or would not be casting anything. You will then want to spend your Holy Power, mostly only at 3 charges, generally in raid. You will want to spend Holy Power on Light of Dawn. However, especially in tier 11, you may end up using Word of Glory if there is no AoE damage whatsoever. It's worth noting, though, that Word of Glory's actual HPS is much, much lower than Light of Dawn's. So that's why you will most always favor LOD. Outside of this, you have the standard 3 heal formula that Cataclysm healers were designed around. It follows the cookie cutter formula of having an expensive, slow, plus very big heal, an expensive, fast, medium heal, and a cheap, slow, small heal. For Holy Paladin, the big heal is now Divine Light. Holy Light becomes a slow, cheap heal, and Flashlight is a fast, expensive heal. Lastly, you will now also have Holy Radiance as a very powerful AoE heal that also generates Holy Power. Together, as 4 of those heals form your fillers. Together, all 4 of these heals form your filler heals that will cast while Holy Shock is on cooldown. All right, so pretty much down here, it pretty much says you maintain your buffs, use this shit on cooldown. Uh, yeah, don't fucking spend too much mana. AoE healing. Due to our new AoE heals, we now have a few additional considerations for AoE healing. Most of them revolve around positioning, as both of our AoE heals are position reliant, heavily position reliant. Holy Radiance is a burst AoE heal that casts on another friendly target and heals for 10 yards around them. Generally, you will focus casting this on melee players as they are more likely to be stacked. However, on some fights, you may find casting on yourself to be a. However, on some fights, you may find yourself being able to cast HR on quite a few range players. Light of Dawn. Light of Dawn has a specific targeting area that's not exactly a cone despite its animation. The healing area is instead a rectangular area directly center on a short edge. Is a rectangle where you're directly center on a short edge, roughly extending 5 yards to the left and to the right of your character and 27 yards forward. It is a smart heal that prefers to pick damage people, including yourself, however. It does the same average healing to all players. It does not heal any specific person more than another. Remember that in raids, playing around other healers is the biggest part of proper triage. To this end, it's important to recognize that most of your Holy Radiance will be on melee, while your Light of Dawn healing can be a little more directed at ranged, who will get less AoE healing directed their way anyway. Carefully consider who you will hit with each of your heals and maximize the number of effective targets each time. Look for large clumps of injured players for Holy Radiance. Consider the targeting box of Light of Dawn whenever you use it, especially to reach low HP range. Don't forget to keep using Holy Shock off cooldown. Alright, and the rest of the shit is just like the cooldowns and the abilities. So yeah, thank you guys for reading the Holy Paladin guide with me and learning Holy Paladin with me. Thank you.